Welcome back everybody to Warhammer Stormbringer. We're up to edition 9, which is our Swampcalla Shaman, and it's got a little thing with it. So we've got one sprue, so this will be a pretty quick model to put together. We've got the two bases, just the standard bases. We've got the book, and we've got another thing of lore in here, it seems. So we'll get to this in a minute, but this opens up the realm of beasts. So there's like a whole map in here. So looking at this map, this does seem different than the old world maps that I'm used to from like Warhammer Total War 2 and all that sort of stuff. So this might actually be in a different world map, but I am not completely sure of that. But just from the first look, it does seem sort of different. So that'll be interesting to find out where this whole thing is based in. So this opens up. There's a couple bits more of lore on the beasts. And other than that, oh, actually, Seraphon's in this. So we've got some lizardmen as well. So that's going to be interesting. Beasts of Chaos. There's a Minotaur. I don't think we're getting these in the Stormbringer magazine. I think it's only the Stormcast Eternals, parts of the dwarves maybe, and then the orc groupings, basically a bit of chaos sort of stuff. But if we get lizardmen, that would be great. Maybe they'll have one further down the line that expands on it. So we've got that little extra piece, and we'll get into later how this works with the binder. Now, if we go into the book, we'll have the basics, more lore. There's the picture from 2 editions ago, I believe. So, Grimnir and Volcatrix. So it's some dwarven hero fighting some sort of a lava dragon type of thing. There's Sigma. Sigma is the god of storms. In the age of myth, he wandered the mortal realms, slaying monsters and awakening his fellow gods to rule over the lands together. So this is under Age of Sigma. So this is during his time in history, I'm guessing. Alariel, who I think might be the elf that you can choose from Warhammer 2, I'm not sure. So Alariel is the goddess of life in the Age of Myth. She made the Sylvaneth to guard the sacred cycle of nature. She and her creations formed a vast culture as large as any human empire. So the Sylvaneth, I think, were like the tree people and all that sort of stuff, the dryads and all that, I think. But I may be wrong on that. So there's a bunch of more stuff. Monsters of the mountains, so we're getting some mountain monsters in the lore. And then we get into our Swampcalla Shaman and Pot-Grot. So it's called a Pot-Grot because it's in a pot. That's kind of funny. Got the usual painting guides all through there. And then just the gameplay. Ooh, there's a whole thing on mystical shields and stuff. So shielding, that's cool. So there's just a bit more gameplay, and that sums up the magazine. So there's a bit of a preview on the next 2. Alright, so let's get into making the mini. Should be a pretty quick cutout, and then put it together. Now there are a couple of these sprue things that are just way too thick, like this one here. These ones leave really bad spots on the model after you've clipped it off. So this one actually didn't show up too bad, but if you can see in there, it is a pretty thick piece. Alright, so this one's minimal parts. There's a nice skull piece. That's like a clothing thing. This apparently goes into there. So it goes in like that. There we go. So now it's attached to. We then attach this one into there, I think. And then these 3 holes go into those middle holes, which leaves pass-throughs for the other 2. Now, because none of this is really paintable anyway. We're just going to put it straight in, because we should be able to paint around that. That's not going to be an issue. The only real issue is getting this in the holes. Okay, if we look at it from here, we can sort of see where they're supposed to go. So this model comes together quite solid, but it is weird having an open piece at the bottom like that. And I don't think that pushes in any further. We then have a double piece that we have to put through. This is a very weird model to put together. I'm actually wondering whether it's smart to put this on at all, because that covers up the chest, which is behind. Like, once this is on, there's no painting behind that. So I think I might leave this separate just so I can paint the chest. So we're going to leave these two off. We might slightly fit them in just so that they hold. So that's what the model looks like. The Swampcalla Shaman. But yeah, as you can see, there's like a whole depth thing to this, so I'm not gonna put that for ease of painting. And then we've got our little Pot-Grot, who we apparently put together first. So he's got like a little backpack with a bunch of pans and potions and satchels and stuff. So this body goes onto there. So he just attains his backpack. That's if his body will actually go in there. It's not quite liking it, so I might chip away at these a bit. Okay, now he fits in properly. Alright, and then we just place the front of him on. Oh, he's not actually in the pot. Oh, okay. I thought he was originally in the pot, but no. He just, stick him on like that. And then the front of the pot. Why is there a... Oh, okay, that's why. This thing goes in the pot as like the water part of the pot. So that's kind of cool. So that just slots in there. So now we've got the swirling, and then we just put the pot at the front, and we have our pot done. Although it doesn't seem to quite stick together. Why is that? So it's like open at the bottom and stuff, and the sides all cracked. So it must be the swirly thing's not in properly. Okay, that's in a bit further. So that knob goes into there. So it's actually got a position that it goes into. Okay, that's much better. Yeah, I think it was the whirlpool thingy, the swirly thing, because that's now flush. But there is still an opening at the bottom, which is a bit weird. It's the same as this thing. You can see through it. So I'm going to keep these detached, because once that's in front, I'm not going to be able to paint the little hobgoblin. But if we have them together, just have them lightly positioned so that they stay together somewhat. There are our two finished models. Our Swampcalla Shaman and our Pot-Grot. When I saw the picture, I thought this guy was in the pot, but no, he's just stirring a pot. So he's like the Sam and the really ugly Frodo. So Sam's going around cooking all the food. So that's the details of the model. You can really see up in there, which is why I don't want to cover this quite yet, because he's got an entire stomach in here to be painted, and then there's that stuff in there. This will cover that. So if we can get it all painted before we put it fully together, I feel like the model will come together a lot better than if we try to paint it like this, which is what the guide shows you to do. I don't know why the guide says that, but it's probably for simplicity. So yeah, there's our models. And then on the back of this one, you got the skull. So it's like a giant skull as a back piece for the clothing. Alright, so as an added bonus for this video, I'm going to show you the binder here. So the way this works is you've got the read, collect, build, paint, and play sections in the thing. It's like a binder thing. Now these books actually come apart. So I've gone and put together all of the other ones, 5 through 8. So they're all in here. And the way this works, I've set it up this way for myself. So you can change things. Most people would probably just get rid of these, which are the back pages. But what I do is I come in here, pull off the first page, sort of just grip it there, and it'll come apart. Sometimes it's a bit more difficult. That comes apart, fits right in there. Then go to read, because this is red, that's red. You've got Age of Sigmar, Mortal Realms, Order, Destruction, Armies, Guides, Stories. So this is a history for Age of Sigmar. So the way this works is you have a letter at the top. So A comes first, and then Age of Sigmar Part 1, it goes Part 2, Part 3, which is one of the big open ones, Part 4, and then we go into B, the history. So that's history 1. This one's history 2, so that will go in there. And then we've got Realms of Beasts, which we've got this big cutout for now from this new one. So as you can see, that goes from Realm of Beasts 1 to Realm of Beasts 4. This is because in the magazines, it's a big mishmash. So they've added lore from different things. So this has monsters, paint guides, basics, playthrough. So there's 2 separate things for this. The painting, there's an A section which is about the actual paints themselves and the brushes, but then the rest of the guides. So this whole thing just comes together like this. Eventually you'll have 1 through however many numbers. Now this symbol we don't have yet, so if we go back to the start of this, guides go after armies and before stories. So this is well after that stuff. As you can see, these are the armies of order. And then we've got monsters. So we do actually have one of these. So this is our monster guide sheets. So the first one's the monsters of Gur, the second one's the monsters of the mountains. So on and so forth, you fill out the book and you'll eventually end up with a codex of lore and other things. So this actually takes up quite a bit of space. We are, what is this, number 9, and we're nearly done already with this binder. If you can see there, it's already halfway, if not more. Now we get an extra binder every 20 editions roughly. Not completely sure on which numbers they are, but yeah, the first 20 or so will go into this one. We'll get the next 20 into the next one. Now the thing is, when you get the other ones, they apparently don't come with this separator. So I'm thinking that eventually we will have to split the entire section into a binder each. That's a potential possibility, unless we get more of these. So that's how the binder works, in case you were interested. Anyway, I shall see you guys in edition 10 when we get to that.